Representative Kathy Manning, Democrat from North Carolina, and the vice-ranking member on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. We spoke about the possibility of investigating Elon Musk and allegations today that Chinese hackers have been targeting the cell phones of U.S. politicians. I also asked her about Israel's other front in Gaza. Secretary of State Blinken said today, and we'll quote it for you, the only path to save the region from war is Israel to stop the aggressions on Gaza and on Lebanon. You agree with that statement?
Well, I think the main way that we could stop the problems would be for Hamas to surrender and to turn over the hostages. And don't forget, we have American hostages, including a fellow North Carolinian who's been held hostage for over a year now.
According to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, 2% of the population there, more than 42,000 people, have been killed. Jordan's foreign minister said today that Israel is committing ethnic cleansing, their words. Do you think that's the case?
No, not at all. I think that the death of innocent Palestinians is terrible. And I think the blame lies with Hamas. Hamas has embedded itself among civilians. They use civilians as human shields. They have put their weapons caches and their headquarters underneath civilian apartment buildings and hospitals. And with Sinwar now gone, this is an opportunity for Hamas to lay down their weapons, release the hostages, and stop the disaster that they've brought upon their own people.
Representative, before we move to Ukraine and Russia, I just got to ask you one question. I totally hear what you're saying, and you hear so much of the world troubled that there's been so much death and destruction there. You point out that Sinwar was killed by the IDF, Nasrallah, Hezbollah's Nasrallah as well. So how does this end?
Well, there clearly is going to have to be an agreement. And I'm happy that Secretary Blinken has been back in the region, working with the Qataris, working with the Egyptians, working with the Israelis. They have got to come to an agreement. But the agreement is going to have to start with Hamas releasing the hostages and giving up its weapons and moving out of the region.
All right, so let's turn to Ukraine and Russia, if you will, another conflict that has continued unabated. NASA's chief today suggested that Elon Musk should be investigated for his ongoing communications with Vladimir Putin. Is that something that your committee would investigate? And if so, how would that proceed?
I think the investigation might be with the Intelligence Committee, but certainly it's something that our committee will be very interested in. It is appalling to think that an individual who has such wealth and such power is communicating on an individual basis with a tyrant who is responsible for the death and destruction of so much of Ukraine.
And Representative, I want to get your thoughts on this before you go. Intelligence sources told ABC News that the Chinese hackers targeted the cell phones of former President Trump and J.D. Vance, as well as some Democratic officials. A Trump spokesperson today didn't blame China, though. He blamed Vice President Harris, saying, quote, "She represents a weak American." Your thoughts on that?
I think that's ridiculous. I am deeply concerned about hacking into the phones or the information computers of both presidential candidates, as well as our military and other entities. And I think we need to do everything we can to make sure that anyone who's hacking into our systems is held accountable. But the hacking is being done by malign actors as far as we know, in China, in Russia. We need to get a handle on all that situation. I'm confident that my committee will be looking into it.
All right, Representative Manning, thank you so much. We appreciate your take on the matters and the time you're spending with us this evening. Thanks so much.